Please all of you repeat with me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama.
Rama Rama.
Rama Rama.
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
So when I sing, you will listen the full mantra from me. And when I stop, you will sing after me. Okay? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
this Hare Krishna mantra has been researched right here in America, in Harvard University research. It is shown that anyone who sings this, like the way you all are singing now, with great attention, therefore there are two words put up. It's called as Strataka chanting, they call it. So the yogis keep a lamp and meditate on the fire. You know that? In the same manner, if somebody sees these two words, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hold the two words in your mind. It's called mantrartha chintanam, we call it. The mind should enter into the mantra, and the mantra should enter into mind. When you sing with such absorption, all the impurities in the mind, namely greed and anger and jealousy and envy and revengeful attitudes, all these things are cleaned away. It's a proven fact. Research has shown this. There is a David Brian Wolf has done a research in PhD research on Hare Krishna mantra chanting. And it's very easy method, isn't it? It's appearing like enjoyable music, but if one sings this with rapt attention, you can disconnect your mind from worries, and you can connect it to the mantra. And by connecting it to the mantra, you can experience a very great sublime joy as you keep repeating this mantra. And this is a very simple method for purging the impurities in the mind and awakening pure love that is free from any kind of limitation. In English we call it as a love agape. Love agape means universal love. Love for all creatures and love for God. That will be awakened by this singing. And there are many researchers have been done on this mantra. Probably you may be aware, the personality whom you see way behind it, his name is Srila Prabhupada, the one who is sitting on the Vyasasana. He is the founder of ISKCON Society. He came to America in 1965. At that time, many students had given up their schools and colleges and homes, and they had become, it was a counterculture. There was Vietnam War also going on, and people wanted to reject the war, and they had become hippies, taking to all kinds of drugs and, all bad habits they had. But when they sang this mantra, they became completely purified. So Prabhupada made hippies into happies, it is said, way back in 1965. And it was a revolution because even the American government took notice of that. They said, you can't believe it, because once people get into drug addiction, very difficult to come out. But these people completely came out. And they became pure in all their habits. So, what is because of all of you coming from very good families and very intelligent students, if you have this practice of singing and chanting, you will be able to make your mind tuned in such a way that you will be able to use your mind beneficially. See, our mind can be like a dam, or mind can be like a flood. Which one would you prefer? Would you like your mind to be like a flood or a dam? Yes? How many of you say like a dam? Okay. How many of you say you would like your mind to be like a flood? You know flood, what is flood? You know what is flood? Yeah, can flood do any good? It only causes destruction. Our mind can be destructive, mind can be constructive. So, a flood carries away the cattle, breaks down the houses, kills people and all. Whereas a dam means the water is stored and conserved, you can use it whenever you want. So in the same manner, all of you are very young people here. Don't waste your energy in the form of anger or greed or revengeful thoughts or jealousy and things like that. Because one doctor says, when you become extremely angry, it is equivalent to running 5 miles distance. That much energy is expended by you when you become extremely angry. So we also feel loss of energy when our mind becomes filled with negative energies, correct? But when you fill up your mind with positive energy, then endorphins are secreted and you feel very healthy, very happy. So we began with the prayer. Now I'll show you a PowerPoint. Today you will learn something very interesting. Like this, I'm going to raise just 3 questions, and get responses from you. And you will find the subject very intriguing, very helpful, and very thoughtful, and it can give you very good direction in your life, guidance, focus in your life. Recently, in 2019, 3 students from one of the premier institutes in India, IIT, Hyderabad, they committed suicide. One of the boys wrote that, I am a computer science engineer, but I don't know why am I living at all in this world. Because I have not got any goal in life. I am seeing all my friends slogging hard now during their academic education. Then they will all go to America and there will slog further hard. Then you have to get placed in a company. And who has how much economic bracket, and people compare. He says that I don't want to join the rat. And he said, because no one is able to answer me about the meaning of life, purpose of life, why this world at all exists? Does it exist without any rhyme or reason? So he jumped off from a 7-story building. When Srila Prabhupada came to America, the University of Berkeley, there was a tower from where many boys were used to jump off. So Prabhupada said, why is your education producing a bunch of people who are committing suicide and becoming hippies? He challenged. So you all are going to colleges where you learn some education. That education teaches you information, but it doesn't teach you how to experience a transformation of your heart. So education is for transformation. An angry person should become a peaceful person. A selfish person should become a selfless person. A cruel person should become a compassionate person. A rigid person should become a flexible person. A person who is always I, me, mind oriented should be helpful and courteous. So you will see such a change of heart is possible. The practice of spirituality is for that, to bring about a change of heart. So that's why the fundamental questions will be answered today. You will see, who are you? Are you matter or spirit? See, this is called matter. And all of you sitting here, you all are spirit. Why you are spirit? Because you know, you are aware that you are sitting here, correct? Is there anybody not aware you are sitting here? You are conscious that you are sitting there, correct? So now, this chair is not conscious. I am conscious. How do you know? If this chair were conscious, he will shout at me, hey, why are you sitting on my head? If somebody sits on your head, you will shout or not, isn't it? But the chair is not shouting, he is dead. He has no consciousness, he doesn't think, he doesn't feel, he doesn't will. So, matter and spirit has been a subject of great interest, even for the scientists, they have been studying about it. So let us see here, just like a driver drives a car, he is different from the car. Similarly, in the Gita, Lord Krishna says that we all are different from our body. We are actually like a bird kept in a cage. We are kept in this body. Like you can see this spirit coming out of the body. You can see. We are not the body, we are resident of the body. Now, why do we take the knowledge of Gita? Because Gita was glorified even by Oppenheimer, the scientist, and Einstein. They quoted from Gita many times. And even Dr. Radheshyam, Radhagopalachari, great politicians have appreciated it. Henry David Thoreau, Emerson, they all have also read Gita and spoken about it. It's a world-renowned wisdom literature which is acclaimed amongst all kinds of learned and wise people. So there, you all know that in the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was under stress. And modern day society is also under great stress, do you agree? Life has become very, very fast nowadays. So the knowledge you will receive today will be very enlightening and it will be mind elevating. You will see that. See here, Arjuna was under great stress in the beginning of the battle. He put his bow down and said, I cannot fight the battle, Krishna. And he was confused, bewildered, he was weeping also. Although he was a great warrior, he was. But then you will find him, he took the bow and fought a valiant battle. After hearing the pep talk by Lord Krishna, just for about 45 minutes, he heard a talk. And you see the result of that was full confidence was developed in him. So, look at these two pictures. If in our lives we want to become confident, we should hear this knowledge. And I am going to give you the sum and substance of this knowledge in a short talk today. If somebody asks you, who are you? Generally you will tell your name, isn't it? One Dr. Harry Monson from here only, Illinois College of Medicine, he says that these are the things in our body. So he says that calcium, phosphate, potassium, sulfur, sodium. Ask yourself, is that you made up of these substances? And this is how it looks like. A bunch of chemicals. Are we just a bunch of chemicals? Or are we something more than that? If you ask a doctor, what is my love for my mother and father I am feeling? They will say that C fibers are firing, or delta fibers are firing, or so such and such chemical is secreting in your body when you feel that loving affection or something. Yes, I don't deny that. Some chemical may be secreting, but that is not love. A chemical secretion is not love. Love is a feeling. One doctor, a neurologist, has found out that in your body, any part of the body you activate, hands or legs, it has a corresponding point in the brain where it has a history. If this point is getting activated, left hand is active. This point is getting activated, right hand. But when you intuitively make decisions or choices, that has no corresponding point in the brain. And that means it's beyond the brain. The spirit is making the decision. So, who are you? Does it sound like you? Is this the stuff of your identity? Then what is our real identity? This is one famous Bollywood actress, Sridevi. Now, when she was living, she was like this. When she died, she looked like this. After death, what is missing in the body? No feelings, no thinking, no desires. Nobody will want to look at this dead body. Correct? No? Even the relatives will feed it to the fire. Because it is no more worthy after that. Just like, imagine you bring some gulab jamun or some sweet from the market in a carry bag. Once you keep the sweet in a plate, the carry bag is empty. It goes straight into the dustbin. It has no more value. Similarly, the soul is carried by the carry bag of this body. Once the soul comes out of the body is given to the fire, given by the relatives. It has no value at all. Imagine if I put a gloves in my hand and move my fingers like this, it will appear that the gloves is alive. Is the gloves ever alive? Is the gloves ever alive? Never. Because if I take my hand out, gloves will fall. Similarly, when we come out of the body, the driver of the body cannot function anymore. Think about an aeroplane in an airport. It's standing for millions of years. It will not budge an inch also. Unless a pilot enters it, sits in the cockpit, and then the plane takes off. Although aeroplane is big matter, matter cannot function by itself. Matter has to be activated by touch of a spirit. Whether it is Tesla car, whether it is, what do you call this, drone. Drone camera, it appears to be flying on its own. Is it flying on its own? Somebody is operating it. A spirit has to operate matter. Otherwise matter cannot function by itself. Even automated cars also, behind them there is a living spirit. You will always see that. Machine does not function on its own. Look at the bulb. Somebody has switched on this bulb. Somebody has switched on the fan. Otherwise it cannot function. That is the point. The same body, but the soul is gone. As you see here, न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. Arjun, न जायते. The soul was never born. The soul will never die. It is nitya. It's always the soul exists. Shashvata. It's imperishable. Just like you talk about energy, right? Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy disappearing in one form, reappears in another form without any loss again, correct? It's conservation of energy. Same manner, the soul also is like that. Na hanyate. You cannot cut a soul with scissor. You cannot burn a soul with fire. You cannot moisten it with water. Even if you drown the soul in water, the soul will not die. Whereas when we drown, the body will die. Correct, no? The soul will never die, he says. So there is no birth or death. Like you see this body from childhood to boyhood to youth to old age. And then that only the skeleton remains. So this is the difference between the body. Body is just matter, but the soul is spirit. Body is not conscious, soul is conscious. Body changes, soul is not changed. Body is temporary, soul is eternal. Body is dead, and the soul is always alive. So the soul is a resident of this body, and that is you. Just like all of you are wearing one dress today, tomorrow you will wear another dress. Every day you change your dress. Like that the soul also changes the body. See here, This is material point of view. People think, I am this body, a chemical bundle. When I am dead, everything is finished. People think like that. This is material viewpoint. Spiritual viewpoint, Gita, Lord Krishna explains. We are not this mental body made of flesh and bones. We are spirit soul. And when we don't die at the time of death, the soul leaves one body and goes to another. That's what it is. Just like a bird trapped in a cage, the soul is trapped in a body. So the whole world is working for the body or the soul. What do you think? Yeah? Whole world is thinking and talking and working for the body or the soul? Body. People are shoe conscious, watch conscious, hairstyle conscious, belt conscious, dress conscious, except soul conscious. Correct? No? People have no knowledge of it. It's like polishing the cage and forgetting the bird within. That's the example shown here. Just like you have to put petrol in the car, but you have to feed another type of food for the driver. The soul spirit is the driver. And when we study Bible or Bhagavad Gita or Quran or any of the wisdom literature, Mahabharata, Ramayana, all these literatures are given why? Because the soul can be nourished by that. So far so good. Is this subject matter complex or is it easy? Because I speak it day in and day out in different places, but you all are students of material science and the different branches. So I wanted to check whether I am able to convey to you properly. How many of you are quite comfortably understand it? You would like to ask anything about it? Till now? Like this I have 3 points. This is the second one. I have 3 or 4 subtitles. So till now I have told you about spirit, and now scientifically I am going to share with you how you can yourself observe that you are the soul. You are not the body. It will become crystal clear for you now in the second section. Can I proceed further?
Yes.
Alright, okay. How can we observe the presence of the soul in a living body? See, when somebody dies, people say, oh, she has passed away. Who has passed away? She is very much there, body is there, but the soul has passed away. You will see that consciousness is a very, very special thing when the soul is present. You see, 3 things are externally observable by you, in you also, in others also, in a living body. Perception, mental activity, and purposeful action. These 3 things. For example, say I give you an ice cream, for example. As soon as you see ice cream, you are able to perceive that there is ice cream. And then your mind starts getting activated. Oh, I like this kulfi or whatever, some ice cream, I like it very much. And then the third thing is, as soon as your friend gives you, immediately you put it in the mouth. That's a purposeful action. Similarly, when you are walking on the road, say we come across something like a snake or some creature, your eyes are looking at it. Oh, this insect is moving, or this reptile is moving. And immediately there's a mental activity. Oh, snakes have a habit of biting. And if they bite, it can be fatal also. Then immediately purposeful action is what? You take a stick or something and you beat it. You kill it. Or you run away from that place. That's purposeful action. So these 3 are observable in any living body. That is perception. Now dead bodies cannot even perceive. For example, this table. Imagine if a snake is climbing on the top of it and crawling. Will the table move? It will not move. Like I was in one farmhouse. One teacher was teaching. If you come across snakes, what you should do in your life? Say you are sitting under a tree. Suddenly if a snake climbs on you, what you should do? He said you should sit in such a way like a yogi. You should not budge 1 inch also. Then he said, then the snake won't do anything. Snake will think that you are also like the tree or like the table or something. It will just crawl over you like this and it will go away. So don't just move, you just sit. I said, is it possible? How many of you think it's a little difficult for you? Just sitting without you are moving. You agree? Correct? Yeah. Because you are conscious. Because you are a conscious living entity. You will prefer to take the risk of snatching the snake away from your body and throwing it, and saving your life. You can't sit. Whereas the table is not going to move because it is dead matter. So therefore the consciousness which is reflected in these 3 activities, perception, mental activity and purposeful action. These are externally observable 3 symptoms in any living body. Like there is a big mountain, Himalayas, and there is the ocean. But Himalayas cannot see the ocean, and ocean cannot see the Himalayas, because both are dead. You will see that. Dead entities cannot see other dead entities at all. They just continue to exist, that's all. Whereas you can see, you have the ability to see, not only see, you can hear, you can see, you can smell, you can taste, you can touch. That ability is only in a conscious entity. Not only humans, animals, birds, trees, they all can do that. This is called consciousness. So, Einstein is talking about a perfect brain behind all the natural physical laws. But I am going to show you one special code. One of you can read it aloud, please, this one. Who has a loud voice? Yeah? Any of you? Is it visible for you? Yeah. Anybody raise the hand? Mic will come to you. Quick. Yeah, please give it to her.
I am very astonished that the scientific picture of the real world around me is very
Deficient. Yeah.
It gives a lot of I'm very astonished that the scientific picture of the real world around me is very deficient. It gives a lot of factual information, puts all our experience in a magnificently consistent order, and it is ghastly silent about all and sundry that is really near to our heart, that really matters to us. It cannot tell us a word about red and blue, bitter and sweet, physical pain and physical delight. It knows nothing of beautiful and ugly, good or bad, God or eternity. Science sometimes pretends to answer questions in these domains, but the answers are very often so silly that we are not inclined to take them seriously.
Yeah. So anybody can say what is the one vital point, key point that you will take from this long, statement of Schrödinger. Erwin Schrödinger was a great physicist, isn't it? So what is one point that hit you hard when he said this? Any of you?
Perspective. Sorry, I have mics.
Okay, perspective. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else? You all can. If you raise the hand, mic will come to you.
The last line.
Yeah. What is it? Okay. The last line says, science pretends to answer, but it cannot answer this thing. For example, science cannot tell you about the love you feel for parents. Science cannot tell you how beautiful the picture looks like. It cannot tell you how sweet a song is. It cannot tell you how tasty a gulab jamun is. It cannot tell you. So nowadays they may even make a robo look like a dog-like robo they make. You've seen that? They put it in the street moving with other dogs. And they put like so it looks like a dog robo is moving, but it doesn't have these 5 things. Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha. Seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. One simple example I'll tell you. I put alarm clock at 3 o'clock in the morning. I sleep at 9 and get up at 3, So one day I put the alarm clock at 3, but I got up at 2:45 itself. When I went to take a bath, the alarm started ringing at 3. So I was wondering why is it ringing? 3, 5, 3:10. Every 5 minutes it went on ringing. I have already gotten up. And that's the meaning of a machine. Imagine if there was another boy sleeping in the room. I told him, get me up at 3. And then he got up at 3 to check where am I. He sees that I have gone to the bathroom. Will he keep on shouting at me, get up, get up? Will he say that? So how is he is not saying different from the alarm clock repeatedly ringing? What makes him not say that and what makes the alarm clock keep repeatedly calling? Because alarm clock is a dead machine. I mean the mobile or alarm clock is a dead machine. Machines don't have any consciousness or awareness or intentionality. And they don't have that. That's what he's talking about. Whatever is very dear to your heart, but there is no knowledge of it. But we are talking a lot about many things related to the dead matter. We are studying dead matter, which is actually, anyway, all around us there is matter in this world, we study the matter. But we are not talking about that is very dear to the heart. So there are many things like the scientists have said. I'm going ahead. There are 3 internal qualities of that self-energy from within. You all can see that. Can any of you tell me what is one thing we all are looking for in this world? Every one of you will agree if you know that answer. All of us are looking for only one thing. Anybody can say?
Peace.
Huh?
Peace.
Okay. How many of you said peace? Okay, there are about 5 of you, okay. And anybody else can say, other than peace, what are happiness is one thing that we all are looking for. That everybody agrees, correct. Is there anybody here who says that, no, I don't want only happiness, I want a mixture of happiness and suffering? Any of you say that? I want a mixture, I don't want only happiness. Okay, there is one, everybody saw. Okay, there are 2 of them. Okay, let me ask a question to you. Say one of your students in the first year you got 8 grade, 8 out of 10. Second year you got 9. Third year you got 10. Fourth year what you will want? Will you feel that I am going on increasing grade, life is boring, let me have some suffering, let me again go back to 8. Or let me get 7. Will you ever think like that? Any of you here? Or imagine somebody has a big shop, is making every year $1 million extra is making profit. Will he be ever bored with the profits? Think that, life is boring, I am always getting profits. Why don't I get some losses also? Will you ever think like that? In this world, we somehow or other adjust to the suffering, but we don't want suffering. Now you can answer your point. If you say you needed a mixture of happiness and suffering, you can give reasoning of that. Why? You can give the mic to him.
Know the importance of happiness after suffering.
You see, that is not called happiness, that is called the relief. See, if going from minus 800 to minus 500 is not happiness. That is relief, we call it. Real happiness is beyond 0. Beyond 0, 0. Some of you said the word peace. Peace actually is 0, 0. And positive axis is happiness. And negative axis is suffering. Right now we are in this world where we are suffering now. But when you go to 0, 0 and beyond 0, 0, you get the real happiness. For example, say if a husband and wife, they are quarreling, they are a negative axis. If they live in 2 separate rooms, don't even look at each other, they have peace, 0, 0. Shanti, Shanti. But if they cooperatively work together with affection, that is positive axis. So you all, which one you want? You want positive axis or 0, 0 or negative axis? Yeah? What do you think you want?
Positive.
Yeah, positive axis naturally. Is there anybody who has a different opinion? No, you say, no, if you want to be negative, you want to always keep fighting. Will you say that? Think about it. Whether it is between friends, or between couples, or between colleagues. So negative axis means problem, interpersonal clashes. 0, 0 means you decide to not connect with that person. That gives peace, you peace, they peace. But positive axis means you can work together with a good understanding, genuine relationship. That is positive. So the whole world is looking for happiness. And not just little happiness, this much or this much. You want an ocean of happiness actually. And suffering you want 0. You will see that. If anybody has any other point on this, you are free to speak. But actually this is a Vedanta Sutra says that. It says that there is no other possibility. The only possibility, every living being wants ocean of happiness. And you don't want any suffering. Even those who commit suicide also, they think they want to end the suffering and they think I will be happy. Correct, no? Otherwise why they commit suicide? Ultimately everybody is looking for happiness. Another thing that we all are looking for is knowledge. Otherwise why do you go to school or college? Even if you keep a plant in a dark room, it goes towards the window when there is a sunlight. From darkness it goes to light. So we all want to go from ignorance to knowledge. Another thing we all want is, we want to live for a long, long, long time. Probably we can say we don't want to die at all. If a person can live up to 60, he feels, I want to live up to 70 or 80. Even a person at 90 cries if doctor says he will die in a month. When he cries, he wants to live longer. Otherwise, why they have this ventilator? Why they have a different type of operation, surgery and everything to prolong the life? So these 3 are observable phenomena internally. If anybody feels anything else inside you, you can tell me. You want to live a long life, which means you don't want to die, you want to exist forever. And secondly, you want knowledge. You want as much knowledge as possible and as much happiness as possible. These 3 are internally observable symptoms of living spirit. Anybody has a question on this? I told you 3 externally observable symptoms, 3 internal, I told you. What are the externally observable I told you? Anybody remembers? Who remembers? 3 points I told you. Externally observable symptoms of spirit's presence of the soul in the body. You remember that?
Perceptions.
Perception is one thing.
Desire and action.
Perception, second one is mental activity, third one is
Action.
purposeful action. Correct. So the external observer. What is internal? I told you three.
Peace.
Looking for happiness or peace and
Knowledge.
knowledge,
Long life.
everlasting life. You are looking for this. These three are present in any living body. Dead matter cannot perceive these three internal, three external senses. Correct. Like here you can see, in a family, everybody wants to protect oneself and protect others also, so that everybody can live happily forever. Everybody endeavors for that. Similarly, everybody wants to be aware what is right, what is wrong, what to do, what not to do. Yeah. And also we all are looking for satisfaction, friendships, joy, and everlasting happiness. Yeah. So now the presence of the soul, I told you through three symptoms now. Three external, three internal, I told you. Now what is the difference between living body versus a robo? Yeah, here one scientist was asking Swami Prabhupada that why do you talk about the soul? Is body also not a highly complex machine? He said, why do you call it like there's a soul in this body? Let us assume that body is a highly developed matter. Like that he argued. So Prabhupada asked him a good question. He asked him, do you have a male and female car that can unite and produce a baby car? He asked him. Or you will see that the living body, I am showing these three things in the next three slides. This is the first thing. The living body undergoes 6 changes, you will see. Whereas this dead matter, I told you, undergoes only one change. It depreciates and turns into powder after a million years. Whereas your body undergoes 6 changes, you will see. All of you think about the time when you were a small baby. You have the photo still. Your mother may have fond memories, correct? No? You have a small baby photo. Now that body is so small. Now look at your body, current body, it is grown up now. It will grow further. When you cross 50, then the body doesn't grow further, it diminishes. You will see that. That's what you will see, the 6 changes you will see here. As you see here, birth, growth, maintenance, production of byproducts, dwindling, and these are the 6 changes you see in every living body. You will see that. Like you see here. You can see the childhood, boyhood, youth, and then gradually old age, and then only skeleton remains, which they keep an anatomical laboratory or something. And the soul goes to the next body. So that's the first difference between matter and spirit. Matter undergoes 1 change, spirit undergoes 6 changes. The second is, a male and female living body can multiply similar species, but machines cannot multiply. Machines cannot. For example, here you see, the husband and wife, they produce a baby. Dogs also produce puppies. Every living creature produces offspring. Whereas you don't find like this. You don't find a truck and a bus producing a car. Machines don't reproduce. Third, a living body has consciousness, thinking, feeling, which I told you already. That's the third thing. Okay. Till now, any question? Till now? I have told you what the difference between a machine and a living body. I have also told you about how do you yourself perceive the presence of the soul in the body by 3 external, 3 internal symptoms. Then in the beginning we talked about matter versus spirit also. Any questions till now? Or any discussion points? If you raise a hand, where's the mic with us? Yeah. Anybody wishes to say anything? Any of you? Now I'm going to show you a video, interesting video will come now. There is one Dr. Ian Stevenson. This is actually Dr. Michael Sepam has researched on people who are in operation theatre at the verge of death in some traumatic experience. They actually went out of the soul, went out of the body and was watching the body. The nurses were talking something, doctor was talking something, they thought they were all talking, this fellow was going to die or whatever. And what equipments they used, what they talked. Nothing is perceivable by the man because the brain waves are flat. Still, the man could recollect every small bit of talk they had because he was at a point outside the body, watching his own body. There are many books written on this. You will see that it's called near-death experience and out-of-body experience. Plenty of books have come now. Scientific research have been done on this field. Similarly, Dr. Ian Stevenson has done research at the University of West Virginia on more than 3,000 cases of people remembering the previous memories from the previous life. There are hundreds of books now on the reincarnation. So you all heard about reincarnation? Re means again taking birth. In car means flesh. In means inside. Again the soul comes into flesh and bones again. the body which is a cage. That's why reincarnation. He repeats. That means like here you see the old man is going in a door and the child is coming from there. That means he's taking a rebirth. Like you can see here, here is a girl who has a phobia for water because in the previous life she died by drowning. Somebody has phobia for bladed weapons because they were killed by a bladed weapon or by a gun or something like that. The phobias are also explaining connection to the previous birth. It has been verified also. So here is a very amazing concept here. These are two twins. How many of you have met twins personally? Any twins you have seen? Okay. So are those twins having same qualities or different qualities? Their behavior, their speech pattern, everything. Is it similar or different?
In most cases, different.
So how is it different? Ask yourself, because they are born from the same egg, When one egg splits into two, that's how the twins come. Genes are same. If genetically they are same, why are they behaving differently?
Different souls.
That is the point Stevenson explained. He said two different souls have reincarnated into two bodies. Although externally, genetically they are same, but they behave differently because two different souls are in two bodies. They have brought different type of karma. Here is the movie, you can see this. I think it's not coming. I think I have to change it.
They have the same name and boyish good looks. James M. Houston, raised in the Midwest. James M. Leininger, a young boy from the bayou.
There's something in the eyes. It's undeniable.
That's not all they share.
Somehow James Houston's spirit has affected my son, either through reincarnation. I don't know how it happened.
I can make the Japanese easiest pie.
Initially,
What caught my attention was James's extreme fascination with airplanes.
and every night he slept with his G.I. Joe action figures, which he named. Here's home video. While the other kids casual.
Just come. Samsung. Down.
They have the same name and boyish good looks. James M. Houston, raised in the Midwest. James M. Leininger, a young boy from the bayou.
Whoa! There's something in the eyes. It's undeniable.
That's not all they share.
Somehow James Houston's spirit has affected my son, either through reincarnation. I don't know. What caught my attention was James's extreme fascination with airplanes.
And every night he slept with his G.I. Joe action figures, which he named.
I took him to the Capitol Flight Museum.
Here's home video. While the other kids casually look at the plane, 2-year-old James seems to inspect it. Watch as he checks the underbelly, then climbs inside, donning the headset.
I said, oh look, there's a bomb in the bottom. He said, that's not a bomb, that's a drop tank.
Bouncing about in the cockpit, James was flying high. That night, their world would change forever.
He started having the nightmares, and that was my first indication that there was something wrong. It was a panic-stricken, terrorized screaming.
Over and over again, James had the same terrible nightmare, 4 to 5 times a week. He was too young to explain the dream, but he could draw.
Bombing ships, you see men parachuting. Here's another one where planes are dropping bombs.
He would just be crying. He'd say, airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out. He laid on his back and kicked up at the ceiling, and he goes, Mama, the little man's going like this. And he laid on his back and kicked his feet up. The little man's going, ooh, 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 can't get out. And I said, well, who's the little man, baby? And he goes, me. I thought Bruce and I were just gonna faint.
They questioned, what kind of plane?
Forcer.
Why did your airplane crash?
My plane was shot down.
Who shot your plane?
He looked at me like I was a village idiot. He said,
The Japanese. I kept thinking, where's he getting this? I was a stay-at-home mom, so I know that there wasn't anything that he was being exposed to.
Not exposed to in this life, but perhaps, just maybe, somebody else was. Decades earlier, James Houston grew up with the same insatiable fascination with airplanes. He became a naval fighter pilot and fought in World War II. March 3rd, 1945, during a mission near Iwo Jima, he took a direct hit. At age 21, was declared missing and presumed dead.
Where did he take off from a boat?
Do you remember the name of your boat? He said Natoma.
Found several thousand hits on the word Natoma.
The USS Natoma Bay launched into battle headed for Iwo Jima in the fight for Lady Gulf.
It's the biggest naval battle in the history of the world.
Leo Pyatt served on the ship. From his home in Ohio, he organizes the Natoma Bay reunions. That's how Bruce found him.
I wanted to disprove it.
He asked a few questions about, did I know some of the people? Oh yeah, I remember those people. And so he got very quiet.
It was all real. The people and places James described actually existed. And remember those G.I. Joe dolls that James named? Turns out, 3 men with the same names, first and last, served on the Natoma and were killed in action. James said they greeted him in heaven after his crash.
I'd always asked him, do you remember what your name was? And he always said James. But his name is James.
Yes, there was a Jim Houston, or rather large shell, just hit him in the engine and it burst into flames and went down.
They showed Leo the drawings.
He was right on the nose. I'm sure, in my mind, that he was there.
Leo invited James, now 3, to the reunion. James recognized several pilots, even called them by name.
You're Bob Greenwald. I'm serious.
He never met Bob Greenwald.
No, he'd never met him before.
And someone else was invited. James Houston's sister, Anne.
And he goes, it's not Anne, it's Annie. She wasn't my oldest sister. I had an older sister than that. And I said, you did? Who was that? And he goes, Ruth. Ruth.
Annie is what they called me when I was little. Knowing my name and my sister's name, things that my brother did when he was a kid, it's too amazing to describe how he would feel that way, but he does. He considers me his sister.
But does she consider James her brother?
I think it's probably a reincarnation of my brother.
Fox 8 News.
Yeah, this is on the Discovery Channel. You saw that. Huh? So, in the previous life, he was actually a pilot and he died in a battle. And now he is reborn as James, and you can see those traits were there in him. He had an inclination for plane and he called many names about the planes, everything. Similarly, there are many case studies. Einstein has presented. Years ago, Shukla was reborn. She wanted to go to the village and they took her to the village. 30 names she could recollect. Yeah? She led the whole party of people. Einstein was personally present also. Yeah? So he has done a doctorate research thesis on this. So there are many great writers like Benjamin Franklin, Adams, Socrates, they all have spoken about such reincarnation. Philosophers also. So that means set A, set B, there's an intersection. Which means previous body, the current body, there must be something intersecting in both the bodies. Otherwise, how can somebody recollect something of a body which is already gone? Isn't it? In this current life. So what is the intersecting element? Yes? Soul is the intersecting element, yeah. The same soul is the resident of the previous body, has become resident of the current body. So now you will easily understand this good karma, bad karma.
So, what's through this door? Where do we go? Is it nothing?
So at the time of death, like Krishna says, the soul leaves the body and goes to the next body. And what does he do? How does he go to the next body? At the time of, just like you see, a boy goes from a cycle to a bike to a car or a plane, the driver is same but he's changing the body and changing the vehicles. Like that, the soul leaves one body and goes to another. He says, based on the desires you have and the good and bad karma you have. Like a human being, by proper inquiry about these kind of things, is promoted to higher life. Or by not making inquiry, one is demoted to lower life. I'll show you some examples. Here is a disparity in the world, you see. Somebody is beautiful, somebody is ugly. You can see the differences in this world. You can see somebody is stinking rich, somebody is damn poor. Somebody is strong and somebody is weak. Somebody healthy, somebody is sick. So the simple reactions come like this. What is incurred in one body comes in the next. Similarly, the pious reactions come like this. So these are all, just like you work in a company for a month and then at the end of the month you get the salary. Like that we are also attracting good results and bad results based on reaction. And here you can see the evolution happens not of the body but of our mind. The mind actually, the body, mind, soul, you know that. The soul is covered by the mind, the body covered by the soul covered by the mind is seated in the bodily machine. At the time of death, the soul and mind leave. And the mind is carrying the consciousness like a consciousness of a tiger. Then he gets the body of a tiger. Here you see, he's sleeping 12 hours in the day, 12 hours in the night and 6 hours in the day. Some people sleep like that, they are very depressed, they take a lot of drugs and everything. Then he becomes a sleeping animal, like a polar bear, you see. See, a lusty dog becomes a dog, you see. Or a lazy fellow becomes a polar bear, you see. Their consciousness takes them to the next body. See here, a very envious fellow, he becomes a snake. Or somebody eating flesh and drinking blood becomes a lion. Actually, their consciousness takes them to the next body. That's the point. Here is the story of one Bharat who was very attached to a deer in the next life. At the time of death, he thought of the deer and his consciousness took him. So mental existence transforms into a tangible form as soon as there is an opportunity. Like in a TV screen also, there are many waves around, but they take a shape when you put a TV screen. Similarly, as soon as there is a facility available to exercise your desires, that body is awarded to you. So body can be considered like a servo motors, and our mind is like a microprocessor. See here.
All say 1, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and last number is 10. You're a good boy. Give me answer. Quick. 1 plus 1. 3 plus 2. 5 plus 1. 7 plus 1. Now, give me answer. 5 minus 2. 5 minus 1. 5 minus 4. 6 minus 3. 7 minus 4. 8 minus 4. 10 minus 3. Very good. Good.
You saw that, huh? See, one more you see. This is a small child, such a tender child. Huh? How many months old do you think this child is? See, the mother will ask the child, because he is carrying something from the previous life, you can see that. You can see.
Namamishwaram Sachidananda. Bata? Namamishwaram Sachidananda. Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Braj. Manam Yashoda Bhiyolukha Labda. Vamanam परमृष्ट मत्यंत तो द्रुते गोप्या रुदन्तमुहुर्नेत्र युग्मं भजन्तं करं भोज युग्मेन शातंक नेत्रं मुहुश्वास कंपात्रि रेखांक कंठं स्थितग्रैव दामोदरं भक्ति बद्धम् इति दृक्स्वलीलाभिरानन्द कुंडे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तमाख्या पयन्तम् तदीयेषु तग्नेषु भक्ते जितत्वम् जितत्वम होता है, जित्यम नहीं होता है. पुनः प्रेम.
So you saw, huh? So this is another child. If you chant Hare Krishna, he will be happy. If you stop Hare Krishna, he will cry. You will see.
Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So, like this you will find people carrying forward their, vibrations, good and bad vibrations from one life to the another. You will find that. Like a wind carrying good aromas or the bad aromas, like Krishna says in the Gita. The soul is carried by the mind to the next body. So we all are carrying good and bad vibrations to the next life. See, some people think only of the food, annamaya. And when you grow a little bit, then you think about self-preservation and you work very hard. You take initiative in life. That's pranamaya. Then jnanamaya, then after that jnanamaya means certain things you cannot get in life, you dream about them and you keep them as ambitions in life. And you are awaiting to get them. Then you come to the vijnanamaya stage where you realize I am not the body, I am the soul. There is a difference between matter and spirit. You learn this knowledge. Then Anandamaya is the stage when the soul and God loving relationship is awakened, the fifth stage. In that stage you become completely self-satisfied. In any walk of life, like Arjuna was a great devotee of Krishna, Hanuman was a great devotee of Rama, you will find that. So pure devotees in any walk of life, whether you are a monk, whether you are a businessman, whether you are a homemaker, lady at home, whoever you be, if you come to the fifth stage of Anandamaya, you will be the happiest person in the world. It's called self-realization, we call it. That's the fifth stage. So once you understand these things, what divides us, you see? People on the bodily platform, people divide. I am Hindu, I am Muslim, or you find this kind of fights are coming everywhere, you find, because on the bodily platform. Once you understand I am not the body, I am spirit, soul, all these differences will vanish. And then soul consciousness means everybody is together. There's no difference. Bodies are only the vehicles for the soul. The soul is one in quality. That will unite us all. Similarly, you will find when you think I am the body, some bodies are appearing to be inferior. Some are ugly, some are handsome, some are intelligent, some are less intelligent. Once you know the soul is one in quality, then you have no inferiority complex. Similarly, so I have shown a few benefits. So I will stop here. You have heard a lot now. Now it's high time we should yes, come Ramchandra Prabhu. Actually I have a you call Ramchandra Prabhu. So I also want to give you some call for action which you can. 2 minutes I am coming to. Ramchandra Prabhu is coming. Ramchandra Prabhu. Saying, I have to go to airport to receive Maharaj. Indian claim leaving now. Like you can sit here. 5 minutes you can tell ABCD you can tell. Alright, no? Conclusion. Because they have understood very well. When I asked, I stopped after every title and I finished the Reincarnation movie also finished. So now one thing I feel you could do is something that they can take home like ABCD, you can tell them. And so this is Rahul who is standing here. He studied his NIT Warangal BTech and MTech he did in IIT Kanpur in India, one of the premier institutes. And after that he came to America here for his postdoctorate fellowship in Harvard. He finished his postdoc. Currently he is working with a company here He's married and has 2 daughters. Your wife is here? You can call her also. So this is his first daughter and the second daughter. So although he has a job, he's a very busy man, but he also gives lectures like this, what you had today. I wanted to show this to you because there are many families like his, and this is Omkar, you can stand up Omkar. He's a student at Northeastern University. He's in the 2nd year of his Masters, MS. So many of you, I'm sure you might have come from NU also. So he's a student and he's a working businessman. So you have all types of people practicing. There is one behind one devotee. What's Prabhu's name? Omkar Prabhu, tell his name, Prabhu's name. Yeah. Panamandi Prabhu. One who is sitting, Panamandi Prabhu, we can raise a hand, Prabhu? Yeah. So he is from here, from America. He is a very sincere practitioner and he does a lot of seva in the temple here. So we have many devotees like this. So he will give you one concluding point which you can take with you, something to work upon in your life daily. This little tips you apply, this knowledge what you heard today will be immensely helpful to you in your current life as well as the future life. Yeah. This is Mataji and her 2 daughters. Your first daughter is here, right? Yeah. She also gives lectures in that. Who is that?
No, my younger daughter, she's playing outside.
Okay. So you can speak a few minutes now. Come. So thank you all for your rapt attention and pin drop silence. I will request you not to feel shy. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. I'm rushing now. I have one very senior, my senior coming to the airport. I had to go to receive him, but he will speak to you now and conclude the talk. Okay?
Hare Krishna, let us express our gratitude to His Grace Radheshyam with a big round of applause. Prabhu has come only for a few days. Also, actually, along with Prabhuji to receive Maharaj, also our temple president, His Grace Mali Pandito, also has to take leave. I will if he can speak. So I just want to introduce. So Prabhu is like the backbone of the temple, and so many youth activities and events for many decades Prabhuji has been conducting here at Boston Temple. Prabhu himself, he's a Pope.
He is here in America last 17 years. And his wife and him, he is IT engineer also. He is married and he has a small boy. He is in 4th standard now, yes, and yeah. And the beauty is, the temple only is his home also. He has only one room in the temple. He and his wife and son, they live here. He lives a life of sacrifice. He takes care of the deities and he also puts up programs like this. He's the organizer. I live in Pune, in India. I come here twice in a year. I come during September, October and April, May. I come generally. But Prabhuji lives here. Whenever you all come to temple, he will be one person you can always meet. He will be available here.
He's currently also working as a program manager at State Street Corporation. And he has taught Hatha Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and many activities in various universities, Boston University, UMass Boston, Harvard and many other places. In fact, for his service for the society, he has received a gold medal from the President of the United States. And so I can keep speaking for a long time, but I'll take food because Prabhu has to leave. So I request Prabhuji to speak for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Rajendra. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining us here today on this special evening. We welcome you all. Has anyone come here before? Did you come for a few past years? How many of you are coming for the first time here? And how many of you are from Northeastern University? Majority. So that's what, yes, a lot of students from Northeastern comes, but of course, even from BC, BU, and MIT, plus support is next door. I mean, all these universities, if you see, like, there are stones throw from our temple, and many people come here. So I have seen many senior, your seniors joining here, coming here, joining to universities in Boston. I take this opportunity and congratulate all of you for getting admitted in one of the universities in Boston, and welcome to the United States of America. And on behalf of the entire ISKCON Boston, I welcome you at ISKCON Boston as well. Thank you, first of all. Since our Radheshyam Prabhu has spoken that how important it is for all of us as we are pursuing this most important education in our lives. So this is for you, it's a crossroads where it will decide where you will go from here now, isn't it? Because you have chosen this path. So see, in a similar way, even Arjuna also chosen this path. So he was at a crossroads where he wanted to decide which way he has to go. And then, even though he was equipped with all kinds of knowledge, he was one of the most talented, most intelligent, and even most educated student in those days at that time. And despite of being such a knowledgeable person, most intelligent person, and highly educated, highly accomplished, he had all the skills to think of. Okay, but none of them could actually come to his rescue. We know that, I think. And all of us at some point of time will face this we face ourselves such kind of existential crisis, and we may find ourselves at this crossroads. At that time, trust me, the only knowledge which helps us is the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. And I got drawn to this when I was in Bombay. I was traveling because I was working almost 20 to 18 hours in Bombay, and I had one aspiration that I want to go to the United States of America, and that was my aspiration for sure, because I always used to see the the things flying high. I was thinking one day I'll cross this. But having said that, so I was going from the so I was my bus was crossing from Chakala. I was working in Andheri East in Bombay, and I was working late nights. So one day the bus was crossing, and the bus stopped at a church, and there was a saying. The saying there was always the right note, and the note was this one that don't spend your time in